Right, hey guys, Sajin's Gamertag here, and we're up doing session 1.2 of Sajincast, and this one's going to be about E3, and I'm here once again with Chris. Say hi, Chris.
Hello.
And I'm also here with Koopus Krupa. Say hi to everybody.
Howdy ho.
Alright. Alright, so first of all, we can take this E3 conversation on a sort of alternate track. So I just want to start by asking the question, are we just going to talk about Nintendo's E3? Have you guys seen anything outside of Nintendo's stuff that you want to talk about at all?
No.
Not really.
Not really?
I've heard a couple bits of controversy from other places that might relate to Nintendo's, but I don't know.
Okay. The only controversy I really know about outside of Nintendo stuff was the whole Ubisoft controversy about the new Assassin's Creed game and not putting women in it. And
Oh yeah.
they just put out like a really bullshit excuse and everyone's raging at them.
It was one of the worst things I've ever heard someone say.
Right.
It's just one of the most poorly worded press releases.
That is true. I just briefly want to talk about a few things that I saw. They're just really brief things, little snippets. They may not apply to you guys, but some people watching might be interested. I saw they did like a 10-minute campaign mission playthrough for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which is a really important game, actually. They're considering it the first true next-gen Call of Duty, and it's the first one that's under a 3-year development cycle. They used to have 2 different developers, and now they have a third one, and this third one is doing it. And it looks really good to me. They have a lot of new changes, like minimalistic stuff for like the heads-up display, where you don't just have like the bullet counter on the side, it's like showing on the gun, like a sort of like augmented reality type of thing where they're showing the bullets on the side and they have the number of your rounds left, and it's really cool. And to me it looked like it confirmed that they're actually using a new engine, which is a whole speculation thing. A lot of times they say that they're using a new one, but it's really just an edited version of the same Quake engine from like 20 years ago. But that looked really cool to me. And there was also Far Cry 4 that looked really good, and you're freaking knocking over trucks while riding on an elephant and things like that. You're like parachuting.
Well, I've always been slightly interested in the Far Cry series.
Right. I got Blood Dragon,
but never really enough to actually like play it.
I'm sort of like always looking at it.
Same here.
I'm sort of always looking at it because I got that one that like was like a launch title for the original Wii. And I know it's in like no way related to the other ones, but I'm just like, hey, I know this series. And I picked up Blood Dragon for the PC, and I really liked that. And I've wanted Far Cry 3 for the longest time because it looked really cool. And so I'm just always.
I watched the introduction to Far Cry 3, and that's what really got me interested because it looked really intense.
Yeah, I just sort of always have that franchise in my sights. More closely to what you guys are into, I was really bummed out that there wasn't a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff there.
Oh.
Because in the past we've seen like trailers and a bit of gameplay at like a Japan gaming convention like a year ago or so. But IGN talked about this a while back, and they brought up the good point where this E3 they announced. You guys know how they did like the HD remix of Kingdom Hearts 1 for the PS3?
Yes.
Yeah. They're doing that with Kingdom Hearts 2 now, and so IGN sort of saw that as that being the main focus from Square Enix, and they don't want them to be like, oh, who cares about that? Kingdom Hearts 3 is around the corner. They wanted to focus on the Kingdom Hearts 2 remix, which is coming out sooner. But it's still a little disappointing to me that it was hardly even teased.
Well, I heard that like just in hearsay that the Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be the end of some storyline or something, and then there's going to be a new one.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, they said that Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be the end of the Sora arc.
And that's kind of disappointing. I've really liked Sora as a character, but I mean, that could have a silver lining to it. I mean, I've always loved the Kingdom Hearts games. Every single one I've played has been amazing, and so I have complete faith in them that they'll pull out something really good. If they feel that they need to end that character, sort of like how Assassin's Creed killed Desmond Miles. Sorry, spoilers. But they're still continuing it with Black Flag, and so they're still fishing stories out of that. So I'm confident that Square Enix knows what they're doing.
Well, let's hope so.
I can only sit and watch. I have no real investment in it right now, though.
Well, I believe like the original trailer where they announced Kingdom Hearts 3, they said it would be coming to the Xbox One as well, when it used to be a PlayStation exclusive. So to me, that means possibly there's like at least a 1% chance that the Wii U might get it.
We can only hope.
That would be really awesome. I'd be like more excited for that than Hyrule Warriors right now, if that was the case, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Alright, so on to Nintendo stuff then. First impressions, how was the digital event? How did you guys like that?
I didn't watch it, I don't...
It was entertaining.
That was like their version of the press conference. They don't really want to have like a formal press conference at E3 like anyone. I like how E3 is like a passing fad to them. It's like, oh, we don't really care about it that much, but we're still showing off all these games.
I mean, it looked like they had fun. I saw Miyamoto and Reggie, lots of pics of them just going crazy.
Oh yeah, that was Reggie and Iwata. Yeah, that was awesome. And they had
And I think Miyamoto was there too.
Miyamoto showed up at the end doing the at the very end, and I liked how in the digital
I saw
event,
that at the very end.
I liked how in the digital event they had the Seth Green Robot Chicken skits going on with the different Nintendo characters, and
Yeah, to me, I found that distracting.
a little, but what I didn't like, it was kind
If
of
only
like
because I'm not a fan of Robot Chicken.
it's it goes a little extreme with a lot of things. A lot of Mario stuff comes up. There's one in particular I can mention right now where they put Mario and Luigi in like a Grand Theft Auto type scenario, and but we don't need to go into too much detail with it. But that's just kind of how the show is. But I was just surprised to see it there because previously I could have sworn Seth Green and his group were all PlayStation fans, because he's done stuff for their commercials, and so I didn't think that he would be on board with the Nintendo thing entirely, but he did it.
Well, it feels like most actual grown-up professionals aren't going to just say, I'm strictly Nintendo, I'm strictly Microsoft, I'm strictly PlayStation.
Right.
To be an actual like gamer, you have to take the boons and problems for each.
Right, and in Robot Chicken and outside of it, he's eventually made fun of something from every developer. He's made fun of Nintendo stuff, made fun of PlayStation stuff, done a lot of Halo jokes, which are pretty fun, I think. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. What I didn't like though is during that digital event, they have this one guy in the crowd who's meant to like symbolize the usual Nintendo fan troll or whatever. And he says, "What about Star Fox?" And Reggie Fils-Aimé shoots like laser beams at him and burns him alive. And then what does Shigeru Miyamoto show off? A Star Fox game. It's like, okay, that was an unnecessary evil.
Yeah.
But I might as well start with that. We are getting a Star Fox finally, and I do plan on. I'm pretty sure the next podcast is going to be all about speculation of that. I found this entire interview that like Time Magazine did with Shigeru Miyamoto. It's online. We can just read the whole thing and talk about it. And so we can pretty much save that for next time, but I'm just really happy. The short version of it is I don't want it to just be Star Fox 64 HD. I want to get out of the ship every now and then. Although some other Star Fox fans...
I want to do some stuff like that too, but I don't want to be out of the ship the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, I really do recognize the R-Wing missions as the essential part of the Star Fox game. It's not a Star Fox game if that's completely left out. But I think...
I'd like to do some planet hopping.
That would be really nice, yeah. I just believe...
Yes.
I just believe as like a gaming industry, we're past the point where a game that is strictly a rail shooter like the original Star Fox games were, I think we're past the point where that can pass as like a $60 game.
I guess, but some other Mario games have stuck to their formulas and still managed to crank out good games, so... I'm not saying that's a good thing, but that's just the market sort of prototype that they're following.
Right. Alright, let's see. Okay, so I want to talk about this. Sort of the first thing... one of the first things that they talked about in the digital event were these amiibo figures. And so it's like Nintendo's going Disney Infinity / Skylanders on us, and I want to know, how do we feel about that?
I don't know a darn thing about it, to be honest. I don't know how to feel about it.
All right, I can briefly...
As long as it's not something that's like totally necessary for you to enjoy the games.
It's not. Let me describe it real quick. From what I gathered for it, it's like... It's not like you buy the figure and it unlocks the character or whatever, but the figure holds data for you, like stats and stuff that you develop for the character as you play with them, that can potentially be transferred to other games. And so, say for example, if you had like the Mario figure in Smash Brothers, you could probably develop... Or the Mario figure, you could develop stats for it in Smash Brothers, develop stats for it in Mario Kart 8, and some other things. They showed all of these games that it's compatible with. Let me read those off real quick. Super Smash Brothers for Wii U, Mario Kart 8, Mario Party 10, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and Yoshi's Woolly World are all planning to be compatible with this. And so I'm kind of wondering how compatible. I mean, does this mean we're gonna get like Fox McCloud in Mario Kart 8 or some crazy crap like that? And a while back,
that would be awesome.
Forever ago, they showed this off, I think. That little thing on the gamepad where you can put the figures on. They're finally using this. But a while back, for like the Rayman Legends trailer, they showed this off. Where they were putting like Raving Rabbids figures on there, and the Rabbids would be in Rayman Legends. And then they put like Ezio from Assassin's Creed. They put a figure of him on there. And then they just sort of left it to speculation as to what would happen. It was sort of like let's try this out, and then they went to black. And so I'm kind of hoping crazy stuff like that happens. You're just like...
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Like just Easter eggs from random things.
Right. And I like that it's not a necessary thing, but I'm still going to grab a ton of these. I was really happy...
They do look really well made.
They do, and they're it looks like a lot of their poses are just from like their regular portrait for Super Smash Brothers. Like if you go to the website and they have like the generic picture where it says like the character's name and their logo, and it just has them. That's the pose they're using.
Well, I think that's the series that they're releasing it for most is Super Smash Bros.
That's going to be the pilot one. That's the first one they're trying it out on. Yeah.
So they might release other series with different models in mind.
Maybe so, but I'm still hoping that these like first issue ones can be compatible with other ones later on. Like I don't have to buy another figure of the same kind just to use it for both. But I was glad to see one of the first choices to make into a figure was Fox McCloud. They got him in the back here. He's like the furthest back one in this picture that I have. But he's there. And they said that they were releasing like 10 figures or something initially, and there's a few more than 10 here, so I'm wondering which ones are going to make the cut in the beginning. But let's see, I've got here Donkey Kong, Link, Fox, Peach, Pit, Wii Fit Trainer, Kirby, Samus, Zelda, Yoshi, Marth, Pikachu, Mario, and the Villager.
Yeah, I saw some of the other pictures in the official art were characters like Tom Nook from Animal Crossing, and I was wondering, is he going to be a figurine? Is he going to be a playable character at any point?
They did show
an assist trophy.
They did show a while back, if you guys remember the trailer where they announced the Villager for the game. They show the Villager getting like a formal invitation in the mail, and then he runs off, and then they show Tom Nook like picking up the invitation, being like, I wonder what this is.
It would be so funny to see him fighting.
Yes, it would.
And they've picked some crazy characters for Smash Brothers so far. I mean, they're listening to the community a whole. They're listening really well. So basically anything could happen, I think.
Well, not anything, but.
Well, yeah.
All right, on to the next topic. What games are you most excited for now that E3 is passed?
Hyrule Warriors. No question.
I'm probably alone on this, but you know what I'm looking forward to, Sajin.
I forget.
Professor Layton.
Oh, the Professor Layton Phoenix Wright thing. That looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I heard about that a while ago, and
I wasn't expecting it to look as good as it does.
Yeah, I've been meaning to hop onto Professor Layton, but with the 3DS games coming out for him now that look better, I might try one of those. But
they do look good in all places. I'm being perfectly honest that from the first games to these, the only thing that has really improved is the gameplay.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's just I couldn't stand like the visual and audio quality of the DS, the original one. The audio quality was
I guess that's up to you.
Yeah, that's just my opinion.
The story was worth it though, in my opinion.
Okay.
Starting with Mysterious Village, it had you guessing. From the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that the story was good. I mean, I'm sure that's the one thing that's really kept people going with it. I'm sure that's like the driving force of it, the good narratives.
Yeah, and the puzzles kind of too. They're frustrating.
All right.
You see, the reason that I'm really excited about it is because with Azran Legacy, they said that was the end of the Layton saga.
Oh.
Or all of the games with Professor Layton in them, at least.
Well, they do that so much.
So
they say, "Oh, this is the end."
I don't know
wait,
what to think
not.
of this. And I have to wonder where in the storyline it's going to be fitting in.
Yeah.
Because they have some pretty resolute beginnings and endings in the series.
Then again, it could always be a sort of non-canon thing.
Yeah, there is plenty of space.
Yeah. Sort of like how
space
Hyrule
in the
Warriors,
story for stuff to happen.
At least I'm pretty positive Hyrule Warriors won't be canon. But it's still a damn good idea.
Yeah,
considering Midna is an imp.
Yeah, someone Someone was saying though in like the YouTube comments that there are a lot of wars described in the Legend of Zelda series, and that this kind of gameplay style might be a good way to like represent those.
Yeah, that's one of the things about it too, is Link's always fighting alone in all of the Zelda games. If he's fighting in
Uh-huh.
an army, it's a completely different narrative.
Right. And so
Yeah.
I mean, I've played some Dynasty Warrior games like the origin of this idea in the past, and I know they're not like the best with storylines or anything, so I'm not expecting anything really really deep, but I also know how the gameplay works. And so I know exactly what it's going to feel like, and I know I'm going to like it. And just the fact that they're implementing like all these Zelda elements and they're just hitting everything right on the money, in my opinion, that's just really what's convinced me to get this.
Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
Hyrule Warriors is up there with for me too. I'm more interested in the actual Zelda title that's coming though.
Okay, let me
I don't
talk
know
about
anything
that.
about it other than it's going to be like open world or something.
Right. Let me talk about that briefly. Um, do you guys remember what that initial Zelda Wii U tech demo looked like a couple of E3s ago?
Yeah.
Hmm.
The short version was it didn't look like this.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of pissed about that because I believe this is the second time that they've done this to us, because I believe a while back in the GameCube days they initially showed like the Twilight Princess type of looking Zelda, and then they gave us Wind Waker.
And Wind Waker was amazing.
Wind Waker is
It
good.
was.
I'm just tired of them showing off the kind of style that I think The Legend of Zelda should be, and then changing it into something different that we've already seen before. Because this looks exactly like Skyward Sword style to me. And so the Zelda fans that keep telling me like they keep trying different styles and stuff, I don't think they are. I think they're
Well,
just
Skyward Sword was graphically inferior. It deserves an HD remake in my opinion because it has some of the best Link animations in it. It just doesn't have the resolution to support.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, this looks pretty
It has
close.
really really good storytelling.
This looks pretty damn close to Skyward Sword, though.
So I feel it could
Hmm.
be what Skyward Sword wanted to be.
Maybe so. Um, what I do like about what they revealed with the new Zelda though is I really like that they're finally going open world on it. Like other people have been saying, going Zelda Skyrim on this thing, and I'm all for
I don't know
that.
what to expect. I don't know what to expect, but I am excited.
I'm just all for that part. Sign me up. Because I've been enjoying open world games recently. I got Assassin's Creed Black Flag on Wii U, and I've really been enjoying that. And my brother got Watch Dogs on PS4. I played a bit of that. That's fun. And so seeing what open world can be, and knowing that Nintendo's finally taking that step. I mean, they've sort of been open world in the past. I mean, Skyward Sword felt really closed in though. But I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it
did.
did. It had some specific realms as opposed
Hmm.
to the kind of open Hyrule that Link to the Past was,
yeah.
or Ocarina
Uh-huh.
of Time.
I felt Twilight Princess had a really good open world as far as I was concerned, and Wind Waker honestly feels like Black Flag does now, except that was like 10 years ago, if not more.
Yeah.
And so that's really
Yeah.
good.
You know, I think about it. Yeah, now that I think about it, Wind Waker is what Black Flag is nowadays.
It's kind of weird that
You're right.
we've come so far just to get the same result, and it's crazy.
I
But
expect Black Flag might have features that Wind Waker doesn't have, though.
Well, the combat and stuff is a little deeper. There are mechanics to it that are a little deeper, but narratively, I'd probably pick Wind Waker. Wind Waker had a good story as far as I got into it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if I
Yeah,
said
it
like
did.
if I said the twist, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be spoiling it for either of you.
No,
Nope. Nope. You wouldn't be spoiling it.
Terra
but
Zelda.
you might spoil it for somebody else.
I don't care. Terra Zelda.
And I
was
think
like,
you mean Tetra.
Tetra. I'm sorry. And I got HD on Wii U and was playing that. I'm ashamed of myself.
Mm-mm-mm.
Anyway. So I.
She's an awesome pirate lady.
She
Oh
was.
yeah.
So yeah, the short version is I'm not too excited about the style choice of Zelda, but the mechanics they're putting in it I'm excited about. So we'll see.
Maybe it'll exceed our expectations. Maybe it won't. We'll just have to wait and see.
Okay. Next topic. What game or lack of one thereof disappointed you? Was there one that?
I was disappointed. I was disappointed that there wasn't a new Paper Mario announced.
Uh,
That might be due to Sticker Star's negligible reviews.
oh. Did it sell well? Do you know?
Wait,
I don't know how well it sold, but I know that the fans were disappointed.
Oh, that's
really?
unfortunate.
Oh my gosh.
It was a really good game in my opinion, but its story was lackluster.
Now, you see, Paper Mario is another one of those series that I've been a little reluctant to pick up, but I've always kind of looked at because it has those RPG elements to it.
Yeah, and this one doesn't have those RPG elements.
Oh.
That's part of why I think people didn't like it very much, but I think the biggest problem is people felt the story was so much smaller than they expected.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Because Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door and Super Paper Mario had some of the biggest, widest, kind of expansive stories that you could expect from a game.
Yeah, I can attest to Super Paper Mario because like that game's story was really, really good. Some of the best writing in gaming I've ever played.
I agree with that. And then I've heard from other fans that Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door was the best gameplay wise, but that's just because they prefer it did what the original Paper Mario did, only better, and it just perfected it.
Testing my Mario knowledge here, that one was on the GameCube, right? Or was that...
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Score one for me. Alright, I've heard that a lot of people were disappointed by the lack of a Metroid announcement.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm like, the last Metroid game I played was Prime 1 on the GameCube, but... And I've heard that Other M was terrible, but I'm like, it couldn't have been that bad. As people are making it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Metroid games are always just... They're always something.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones that I've really ever actually played is the Prime series, and I only got 90% through Prime 2,
Okay.
which is very disappointing to me because I was playing through the original Prime and I loved it, and then I got the second one, and I got 90% through and stopped playing, and when I came back, my save file was gone.
Oh no.
Ooh.
And it's a long game. So I won't be able to see what's going to happen in the end unless I play through it again.
That sucks.
Unlike you guys, the only Metroid game that I've ever played is Metroid 2 on Game Boy. I have not played another Metroid game after that. I mean, like, I want to try the Prime games, but I just, like, they're kind of expensive nowadays for me.
Yeah, the Prime games don't, as far as I know, they don't feel at all like the original sort of Metroidvania labyrinthine style.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they're first person shooters.
Although they do
more
have
but...
they have some elements because the worlds are huge and maze-like, but they're definitely first person shooters.
Yeah, they still feel like adventure games though to me more so. They still have that adventure vibe to them, and I think that's what games like Far Cry and stuff are trying to emulate now. What Metroid Prime was doing.
They have a lot more polish than some of the first-person shooters I've seen, though. Their worlds are very fleshed out with research entries and different things you can collect. You can look at every enemy and dissect its sort of anatomy.
Wow.
It has, like, research notes for every enemy that you run into, so you can go into and get Samus's own sort of anthropological statement on like how it works. It's really cool.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So there's lots of lore and there's lots of world building done.
There is.
There's also a story to uncover with the space pirates that you're infiltrating their bases and finding all their research.
Yeah. Like, the best storyline one, like in the Prime series, has got to be Prime 3.
I haven't played Prime 3.
Well, neither have I.
I have the collector
from what
edition.
I've heard that
Wait,
it was...
I have the collector edition, which is Prime 1, 2, and 3 on one disc, so...
Oh, you lucky...
I've heard that Metroid Prime 3 was, like, graphically beautiful on the Wii. Because it's first party, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less, but...
Yeah, Metroid Prime, the original, I have it on the GameCube originally, and graphically it blew me away. Just the original Metroid Prime on GameCube, like exploring the different worlds, and especially the opening is famous for just being incredible.
Yeah, it's
very cinematic.
It's really awesome.
Yeah, it's spooky. Even though it's not dangerous at all, it feels really spooky. It feels like Dead Space.
Or you mean Dead Space feels like Metroid Prime? If we're talking,
well, yeah.
If you're talking about which one came first and all.
Yeah. But Dead Space, of course, is dangerous. This is just more immersive.
Yeah.
And Dead Space, I hear, is just full of jump scares, so this was just atmosphere pushed to the max.
Yeah, well, they are kind of trying to be different kinds of games. Like, Metroid Prime's like an adventure game, and Dead Space is supposed to be like borderline survival horror.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. There was one for the Wii.
But in space.
There was a Dead Space for the Wii that was apparently a prequel to the entire series. And I was kind of interested in picking that up, but I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, I think we got off topic.
Yeah. Right. Something that I was disappointed in. I mean, it was still there, but they didn't do what I wanted them to. To start with, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate was announced for that it's coming to America. But the bad part is that it's just for 2DS and 3DS. And it's apparently
What?
not going to have a Wii U version like Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate did. And that kind of bums me out a little.
Oh, that is disappointing.
But the Monster Hunter games are like really good games to have on a portable console. Like, I loved having Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on my 3DS. Played the crap out of that thing. It's like, I think it's like possibly the best possible game that you can have for a portable console. It's just so incredibly deep and immersive, and there's just such a high learning curve to it that I doubt you can ever master it. You can just play it forever, and it's just an amazing thing to have on a portable. So I'm glad that it's finally coming to America, because it got released like a year and a half ago in Japan. And it will have online play on 3DS, which is good, because that was like the main hook of the Wii U version. But I think it would still be nice to see it in HD.
Yeah, that would be nice if it was in HD.
And they're sort of doing the implementing of Nintendo content too with their stuff. They released a trailer forever ago. This was like a year before E3. They released a trailer where you can get like Link's outfit, and you can get the Hylian shield and Master Sword. And they show another one where these feline sidekicks that you have, they can get Mario and Luigi outfits and use giant hammers. And so that's going to be pretty great. It's just
Now
that
that's cute.
like everyone you see online is going to have the same outfit though. But hopefully there's some kind of difference there. But that it's just a slight disappointment. I mean, the game's still coming, and I'm still going to pick it up, but I just kind of wished it was in HD. Alright, next topic. Was there a game that you weren't impressed with at first, but E3 footage changed your mind about it?
Well, like I said, the Professor Layton game, I heard about it, but I had no idea it was going to be so Layton centered. I thought it was going to be more Ace Attorney, or it was going to have some new game mechanic that wasn't what I was used to. But after seeing the trailer, I'm really excited about it now.
Right, I don't know a whole lot about either of those series, but it sure looks like from the trailer that the play styles of both of those franchises are remained completely intact. And that's good to see.
Yeah.
At first I was not um like impressed with the announcement of Bayonetta 2, but I guess with E3 it kind of made me want to play the game now, and with the and the fact that they're including the first Bayonetta with it is a smart move on Nintendo's part.
It is, and I feel the same way as you do, Chris, because I like a lot of people are like, oh, that's great, Mass Effect 3 is on the Wii U, but where's the other two? We have Assassin's Creed 3 and 4 on the Wii U, but where's the first two and all the other games? But we're getting the whole Bayonetta series now. And also...
because Bayonetta was originally not a Nintendo title, was it?
No,
right, it was a PlayStation 2 title.
Was it? I thought it was PS3, maybe, or that gen. I remember seeing
maybe
it.
it was PS3.
I remember seeing it. I remember seeing someone have it on the 360, I think.
Well, it probably got passed around a couple times.
Yeah, and just no one would.
It is an individual, like, it's not an indie game, but it's its own property.
It's a third-party developer,
Right.
right? And Nintendo is
Yeah.
the one that just finally picked it up and decided to publish it so it could be made, and so it's a Wii U exclusive
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
No.
If I remember correctly, Bayonetta was made by a Platinum Games,
Yes, I think so.
and they're the same people. Well, like the same. Okay, they are the same people who were a part of Clover Studios, who made games like Beautiful Joe and Okami.
Were they? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Alright, so they sort of had those connections already.
Yeah, but then. Yeah, but when Capcom bought up Clover Studios, the three the three heads of Clover left Capcom to form Platinum Games so that they could make games like Mad World and now Bayonetta 2.
Okay. Yeah, I remember Mad World, and that was always something that I looked at for a while and was like, should I pick this up? Should I not? And my brother actually seemed interested in it, and for some reason I just want him to get on a Nintendo console so badly. And occasionally he's played like some Call of Duty on it, or he's played Mario Kart 8 a couple times with me, but he's never really been one to get on there. I'm hoping Hyrule Warriors will really get him on, because ever since I hyped him up about it, he's been playing a lot of Dynasty Warriors on PS3. So
Yeah. Well, I've got Mad World, and it's definitely not what you'd expect back from Nintendo. I mean, for them to have an M-rated game on their Wii system, that's pretty ballsy.
yeah, but and that's the man. I keep trying to convince people because somehow the message didn't get through. But like the Wii U was really an attempt by Nintendo to regain like the quote unquote hardcore gamers that they lost because of the
Yeah.
Wii. And with games like Bayonetta 2 and stuff, I think they're really doing it. I think they're doing everything they need to do.
Yeah, it's never really felt like, well, to me, that Nintendo lost much of the people that grew up with them.
Right, but
I mean, they lost some of them to the PlayStation and Xbox and stuff, with people trying to grow up and also grow up their game tastes. But Nintendo has always been for everyone.
right.
Yeah.
To people on like the PS3 and 360 though, like the Nintendo faithfuls were never really considered hardcore gamers by their standards. This isn't my opinion, I'm just stating what they said. That's why I used the quotes on it before, because it's all relative.
Yeah, the idea of a hardcore gamer has always been slightly ridiculous to me anyway.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I'm sure there's some merit to having the skills or the know-how to pull off incredible things on your first-person shooter or whatever it is that hardcore people claim to do.
right.
But it's a video game. It's fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And going off of
It's
the fun,
supposed to be fun.
going off of the aspect of fun, I kind of hinted this towards Chris when I told him to watch Bayonetta 2 stuff. I don't know if he saw it though, but with re-releasing Bayonetta 1, they've done what a lot of other Wii U titles are doing, and they implemented Nintendo costumes for the character.
Really?
Yeah, they have you can put Bayonetta in a Link outfit. They have a Princess Peach outfit where instead of summoning demons, she's summoning like Bowser. It's amazing.
Oh,
And they also
Oh my gosh.
they also have a Samus outfit, and this one I thought was the best because like during cutscenes, they were changing whether they wanted her visor up or down. And so she could do like a snappy remark and then you can choose to put the visor down. And it was just,
Oh wow.
I just love when games do this. It's just so great. Just putting this Nintendo stuff in these third-party games. And
It's always fun when you have a costume on and then it goes through to the cutscene as well. It just
yeah,
changes
Yes.
what's
that
obviously intended for the game.
it's always an added bonus. And staying on the subject of like these third-party titles, something that E3 really turned around for me. I don't know how much you guys know about this game, but Devil's Third, which is being developed by Valhalla.
I
When,
saw that title on the E3 page, but I don't know anything about it.
well,
I still haven't seen anything about that game.
okay. Well, I'll briefly explain to you. When they initially showed a trailer, I'm not sure when it was from or just like day one E3 Treehouse stuff. But it just looked like a complete testosterone fest. It just didn't seem like really deep at all. It was just cutting people open, shooting them open, blood going everywhere, all like the generic like
Yawn.
action movie stuff. And
Yeah.
besides that, the game was like originally going to be like a PS3 game, so it looked kind of dated and stuff. And I was just like, this is not for me. But then I think it was day 3 on the E3 Treehouse. They spent like 20 to 40 minutes on it, and the developer came by and he just like did this whole disclaimer thing. He says they're used to making like action games and they wanted to challenge themselves by making a shooter. And then they showed this trailer for the multiplayer for the game, and that turned it completely around for me. It went from like I'm not interested in this game at all to I need to have this game right now. The multiplayer was so ridiculous. I didn't understand half of what I saw. They had complete character customization. You can like build your own bases. You can like set up maps for people to play on. You can like bomb your enemies with propaganda posters. Um, they had these crazy gameplay modes where there are like all these chickens floating around people and you're collecting fruit and trying to throw it into a blender. And I'm just
Sounds a bit like Splatoon.
well, it's kind of like a hardcore Splatoon, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
I guess you could say
Splatoon
that.
is the only real like first-person shooter game that's really looking interesting to me, to be honest. But that's just because I'm so first-person shooter
that's a third-person shooter,
unfriendly.
first of all. But
Well, it's a shooter. It's
Yeah.
a multiplayer shooter, so
let me tell you why I'm interested in Splatoon, and I think it's kind of necessary. Have you guys heard of the Xbox One game Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare?
I've seen that. Yeah, reminds me of Team
Not really.
TF2.
I think Splatoon
Yeah,
kind of
Splatoon
reminds
actually
me.
does remind me of TF2.
It's got that quirky multiplayer shooter vibe.
Right, and I think Splatoon reminds me of Garden Warfare, and so I think it kind of fills that niche that game did on the Wii U. It's kind of that quirky shooter. But my problem with Splatoon though is that they're trying to market it as a $60 game, and I can't see that.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like it has plenty of features to it, but they might have to do some more press releases to cover it at all.
Yeah.
I hope it has a lot more. I just saw it as like a $15 game. Like a lot of games I kind of saw as like this can't be a full-fledged thing. Like I wouldn't pay
Yeah.
$60 for Yoshi's Woolly World or Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Yeah, I guess it
And
depends
yet-
on how much they can do. Because those games I'm interested in, but I want to see that it's going to be worth my money.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess we just need to see more for a lot of things.
Because Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is kind of following in the footsteps of one of the mini games from Super Mario 3D World, where you play as Captain Toad in this sort of isometric perspective, and you can't jump, So I'm wondering if that's going to be the same kind of gameplay style.
They sure made
Because
it.
those were fun little mini games.
They sure made it sound like it was following that. They mentioned that a lot, and I haven't played that game yet. I've been meaning to.
Neither have I, but but that aspect of it does actually sound interesting.
And they said
And
that
now that I
the
think about
Yeah,
it,
it's sort of puzzly kind of platformer.
and they said that the amiibo
It
figures
does
were
look
going to
very
be.
pretty.
They said amiibo figures were going to be compatible with that, so I'm interested to see what that does too.
Yeah.
all right.
I mean, if I can get Fox
And
the
also, it
Cloud,
might be the first kind of game where you play as a toad.
right?
Yeah. No,
Toad
no.
Toad has always been a supporting character, so trying to add some autonomy and power to him would be an interesting choice moving forward, just to
Yeah.
see. Because Toad, in all Mario parties and other games, he's always been a referee or a supporting character. So adding his own game would be interesting.
Right.
But if I remember correctly, the first game where Toad was actually was the only playable character was in like the puzzle game Wario's Woods on NES and Super Nintendo back in '94.
Right. They mentioned that
Yeah,
too
I think.
while they were showing
Yeah,
off Captain Toad. They mentioned that game too.
yeah, that game's in the NES remix. I saw it, and I think it's also on Virtual Console now.
That's cool.
It looks interesting. It's really kind of it comes from the generation
It is,
of
actually.
falling block puzzle games, which were
Like
huge in the '90s and such. Like Tetris. Tetris started, and then hundreds upon hundreds of copycats came out. It's one of those forgotten eras of gaming.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the one
The falling
eras that you
block
mostly
puzzle.
pine for.
There were good ones and bad ones.
Yeah. Like another good one was Dr. Mario, which kind of copied Tetris.
Well, yeah, I think that one was actually a reskin of a Japanese title. I think it was called Magical Drop. It might be wrong. There's were a whole bunch of it was really prevalent in Japan. These falling block puzzle games, and that's sort of also where Tetris Attack came from. I don't know if you've ever played Tetris Attack.
Yes, I have actually once at a convention and I lost.
It's really fun, but it gets really hard really fast too. But it was originally a Japanese title with all Japanese characters, but it was Marioized for America.
Yeah, and and then and then like there was another game that was like that, but it it had it had nothing but Pokemon characters from the anime. It was called Pokemon Puzzle League.
Yeah, that's a. There was also just a Tetris Puzzle League, which was another one that was precisely the same. But they just reskinned the same game a couple times.
Wow. All right.
It did have a lot of polish, though, the Nintendo ones. The Tetris Attack had a lot of great music and visuals.
Oh yes.
I imagine it did.
And multiplayer was crazy friendship breaking.
Oh yeah.
All right. We're running a little short on time, so let's just briefly discuss the last topic. Anything you guys are anticipating will be at E3 2015?
I can only hope for a Paper Mario. Because
The
they
only thing I
usually
can hope
announce
for.
them at E3 for
Yeah.
a Christmas release.
Hmm.
The only the only game franchise I'm hoping for will be announced again, but hasn't seen another release since 2010 is the Knight series. I love that series to death.
Sparkstar?
Sparkster, the Rocket Knight.
Does Nintendo own
Yeah,
that?
he's.
Or
No,
I think they do. No, no.
no, no. Sparkster is a Konami me me character.
They got a new Spark. There was a new Rocket Knight game in 2007 or something, wasn't there?
No, that was in 2000. Well, it was announced in 2009, but it wasn't released until 2010. And Rocket Knight.
I see.
And
Yeah, that
I was
that
actually
sort of
hoping.
came from. Oh, sorry.
Uh, I was really hoping that since since like Super Smash Bros. Brawl had Snake in it, maybe Konami would expand their library of characters and maybe include Sparkster. That's actually what I was hoping for the new Smash Brothers game.
and it's
Well, he
weird.
does have a move set that lends itself to Super Smash Brothers.
He does, and and uh, like what were you saying? Like what were you gonna say?
Oh,
Go-
I
go-
was just gonna
Chris-
say. I was just gonna say that Sparkster comes from an era of games that I like to call the funny animal era of games.
Yeah,
It's
the animal mascot craze after
the animal
Sonic became a
mascot
household
crazy.
name.
Yeah, which had good and bad games, of course.
Yeah, it's like after Sonic became a household name, every video game company was trying to cash in on his success with their own mascot that was badass as and with a bad attitude. But Sparkster was not trying to be like that. He was actually something different.
Yeah, I think he had a different style to him. He wasn't trying to be cool. There were a whole bunch of animal characters that were trying to be cool, like dare we mention Bubsy?
Yeah.
Since
And
you mentioned it, Chris, I completely forgot about it. Should we talk about Sonic Boom at all?
Sure, why not? Just briefly.
Okay. Because I like saw some gameplay and a trailer and stuff for it, and I didn't know what I was looking at. Like, are they following like a different Sonic arc now? Because they all look different. They had different like attire.
It's a spin-off as far as I understand.
Yeah, it's going to be both a video game series and a cartoon.
The
Okay.
cartoon looks really funny.
I did hear about the cartoon part, so I was just
It's following the sort of humor style that they've introduced in Sonic Colors and Sonic, the other Sonic game. What was it called?
Generations?
No, the other one with the Sinister Six or whatever.
Lost World.
Lost World.
That's the one.
I still mean to
It's-
pick that
it's-
one up.
Yeah, it's a new humor
Yeah.
style, which I really appreciate from the sort of broken storytelling that they've been doing for years and years. They took a step back with their storytelling and just sort of focused on Sonic and Tails and this kind of witty banter between them, and it was much more successful than the convoluted storytelling that they
Yeah.
tried in the past.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on that.
Well, that sounds like a
And it lends
positive thing.
itself to a television show pretty well, I think.
Speaking of which, I read somewhere that the writers for Sonic Colors were actually once a part of the Happy Tree series,
Oh no.
I can
which is
see
where the
that.
humor, which is like where the humor comes from.
I can see that.
The sadistic humor.
Well, it's not sadistic, it's just much more tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Although it does lend itself a little bit more to the internet irony and kind of goofy over the top one-liners and things.
Okay. Well, I was just looking for some more context on Sonic Boom, and that answered my questions about that.
Yeah, people are all up in arms about Knuckles' redesign, but I think he looks good.
Yeah, he was all buff and stuff, and it just looked
Yeah.
weird to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to think.
I mean, all of the Sonic characters are so homogenized. It's about time we got some diversity in their builds.
That's yeah, it's always a good thing.
I mean, there is a Sonic style
Right.
that they've established. I can understand why that would cause people some upset, but it's about time that we branched out.
Like, what do you expect from the Sonic fan base? Like, they'll complain about anything.
That can be said about a lot of fan bases, though.
But mostly Sonic, because Sonic's fan base would be up in arms the most.
I
Believe
think
me on
so.
that.
I think a lot of it comes from the Sonic fan base being so youth centric. So we have, it's not necessarily that young people are stupid. They're more easily riled, I think, and emotional.
Oh,
That is to say, Sonic games are sort of for the younger crowd. And that's sort of what they've established from the start, that Sonic is this relatable teenager character.
Yeah.
all right. Well,
But that's not anything bad. I still appreciate the Sonic games for a lot of reasons.
I think we all do.
all right. Well, briefly, I'm going to discuss what I'm looking forward to seeing later on. But I just want to comment real quick in saying how like Nintendo may be behind like tech wise, but they're sort of ahead of the times with just like seeing E3 as like a passing fling that they don't really need. They do their own digital events and developer directs and Nintendo directs to announce whatever they want to announce. And they do it on their own terms, and I think that's really great. The developer directs we've been getting for like Smash Brothers and Mario Kart and all that, I think it's really amazing. So I think
Yeah, they got smart marketing.
they do, and
Very smart.
Much smarter than Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I mean, we have
A lot.
Nintendo at the top and Ubisoft at the bottom.
yeah. And so I'm hoping before next E3 we see developer directs for like Star Fox and some other things. I hope it outside of Nintendo, I hope to see more Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff really soon. I'm thinking once
Yeah.
I'm thinking once
Definitely.
I'm thinking once 2.5 Remix is out, they're going to start focusing on that again.
That's probably what they have planned.
Right. And I'm okay with that. That seems believable to just focus on the thing that's coming out sooner, but I just can never hear enough about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about more indie games if not just from Nintendo. Because I keep up with some indie game crowds online and things, and Kickstarter games, and stuff like that. And they all look very exciting.
Okay. I haven't seen a lot of those like cheap like $10 and under, or let's say like $15 and under. All these, I don't know if they're necessarily indie games, but they're just like under the radar games, and there's a lot of them on the Nintendo eShop, surprisingly. Things like It'll Do and Gravity Badgers look really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight too, yeah. Just the fact that we're getting support there is a good thing. It's good to see any kind of support at all. And all right, I think that's it. Any last comments?
Well, what's gonna be the topic for next time, do you think?
Next time is going to be all about Star Fox. What do we know? What do we want? What do we not want?
And when do you think that's going to be?
Good question. I'd say it would be nice if this was a monthly thing, if not more frequent. So
Yeah, that sounds good.
so perhaps
Yeah.
some perhaps
I'm with
some
that.
perhaps sometime in July we'll do that.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
All right,
Well, we'll talk more about it when we have a date planned.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been great. I'd like to thank my guests for joining me.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. It's a pleasure. And this is Koopus, Chris, and Sajin's Gamertag signing out. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.